when it comes to who you're going to be working for, it's going to be different influencers. An example here that as I've put is Andrew Tate. They wrote a few different offers. They have the War Room, they have the Real World, and Iman Gadzhi is probably the biggest influencer inside of the space with his companies like Educate, Publishing.com, and other things. So offer is just another word for job. Now, when it comes to what you're going to be selling, what you're going to be selling is going to be online education. So, online education, in another word, courses, right? It doesn't have to just be courses, it can also be services. So, things like marketing. So, things like marketing. There are also some other examples would be things like investments. So, investment banking and other financial services. But the main core of it is going to be online education and courses. Will I have a contract and will I pay tax? So when it comes to having a contract, this depends job to job. So some jobs you will have contracts, some jobs you won't have contracts. Doesn't mean that either or is better than the other, not necessarily. Some of the biggest offers I've worked for, I've had no contract with. And some of the better offers I've worked with, well, some of the most on paper amazing offers, I've had a contract and it's meant nothing. And I've seen people with contracts also not get paid, etc., etc. When it comes to paying tax, there's two ways you can go about this, and I'm not an accountant, so don't take my advice on this. Is you can set up a limited company, or you can become self-employed and pay tax through that. I would recommend speaking to an accountant if you do get into the industry, as they will be able to give you the most answers when it comes to obviously the tax side of things. Now, one of the other questions I get all the time is where do the leads come from? So the leads come from the marketing. So the marketing is the different things that you see. So let's take Eman, for example. So Eman posts on Instagram, and then from Instagram, people are funneled onto YouTube, where they are then funneled onto a webinar. Now, through the webinar, there'll be a link to book a call. So on that call, it's not going to be Eman on all 1,000 calls that he books, right? That's where you come in. So on this call, it's going to be you where you're going to sell the customer on the product. So this is how you generate your sales. Is the company does all of the marketing, they generate them through Instagram, push them to YouTube, run a webinar, or maybe even they go directly from YouTube to book in a call. And then that's where they speak to you. And then from there, you sell them and then they buy the product and you make your commission. Now, some of the frequently asked questions that I get, hours that you're going to be working. Transparently, this depends on the offer. I know some people who work 4 to 6 hours a day. I know some that work 8 to 12. I also know some that work 2 to 3. And all of these guys can make anywhere from 0 to 10K to right the way up to, I know guys making 75K per month. Now, what is going to be the average earnings inside of this industry? As this is a common thing that I get asked. And the answer is not 10K, right? I see this all the time where it's like, oh, if you get an high ticket, you're going to make 10K. The average earnings in this industry are going to be right around the 5K mark. So still better than the 9 to 5, and you're still going to have complete remote freedom, and you're still going to have access to absolutely everything when it comes to what you want in life. But you're also going to be able to earn a good amount of money and also earn a good living as well. Now, when it comes to how it all works, so as I was touching on earlier, how it all works is you start to find roles and you will apply for roles. You will send what's called a Loom video. So this is a 1 to 2 minute video just talking about yourself. Think of it as a digital CV. So you're going to send a 1 to 2 minute Loom video. Then from there, what's going to happen is you're going to have an interview like a regular job. And then once you have that interview, you will either then go around to second stage interview, so second interview, or you will be hired. Now, once you get hired, so once you get onboarded to the offer, what will happen is you will be added to the calendar. Now, what do I mean by the calendar? So that is where all of the leads book into. So all of the leads will book into this company's calendar. Now, when you're on the calendar, that means that you're going to be getting warm inbound bookings. So inbound bookings, you don't need to do any dialing. So no dialing unless you become a setter, obviously. So no inbound dialing. Now, what you will be getting is inbound calls. You will then take these calls They usually last between 40 to 1 hour. So 40 minutes to an hour. You will take payment on the call. So you will collect the anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 on the call. You will then get 10% commission on those at the end of the month after the call or the week, depending on the company. But industry standard is 10%. There are offers that do anywhere from 15 to 30% comms, but your bog standard is going to be 10% commission. Now, from there, they will be onboarded onto the offer. So they will be onboarded and receive XYZ service. As soon as they're onboarded, your job stops. That's it. You collect your commission and you're done. And that is the beauty of high ticket sales, is your job starts from here to here. It's three things. You get calls booked in, you take the call, and then you collect payment. And once you do these three things, your job's done. Sure, you need to do follow-ups like any other sales job. You need to follow up with old leads. You also need to do pipeline management. And then you also need to obviously be on top of things, do things like your EODs, etc., etc. Now, the one thing that is missing in here is going to be setting. So if you aren't wanting to get into closing and you're looking for a more entry level position, then you can get into setting. What is setting? Someone who phones or DMs on behalf of the influencer. So if you were to DM Iman Gadzi right now, he would reply. And when I say he, that's in abbreviations. Because the person who's replying isn't actually Iman. It's what we'd call a DM setter. So that DM setter's job is to try and qualify you. So make sure that you have the money and make sure that you're looking for it. And then from there, what they're going to do is they're going to book you into a call with Iman or with a closer. And then that's where our situation begins. So they book you in and then you're on the call with them and that's where you can close them. That is an overview of what high ticket sales is. For all more information on high ticket sales, how it works, and some live call examples, subscribe to the channel below and we'll be able to give you more advice.